Hello, my Trishas. So, I was just sitting and thinking, and I was thinking about how we, as women specifically, so much of our time and energy often is in tending to others. And of course, this is when you're a mother or a wife or a daughter, all those things. And so often we can become kind of fully eaten up in that role of serving and what we are to others. And I was thinking about how with our workbooks, it's like creating a room of one's own, as Virginia Woolf would have called it. I hope it was Virginia Woolf. Dear Lord, have I misquoted? Let me Google it. I'm sure it is. I'm sure I'm not misquoting, but I could be, but I don't think I am. A room of one's own. Virginia Woolf. Yes! Fucking nailed it. Did it. Nailed it. So a room of one's own. A place where you can just be you. Spaciousness to remember who you are again. And how having the workbook is that little, it's like a little talisman, a little amulet for us to keep in contact with ourselves and to remember what our dreams and goals are as well, and to not lose ourselves completely in that process, that those other roles that we do serve. And the reason we do that is to remain whole in our relationships with others. Because when we forget who we are, that's actually when our relationships with our children, our partners, our families, our friends suffers. Because if you're not at home in yourself, then you feel lost. And you feel like your body is alone in the world because you're not keeping company with yourself. And you begin to kind of feel like a shell. And we don't want a shell of you. We want all of you to be in your own body and to be living your life. And so I know it's hard to balance sometimes the work of motherhood and the work of being a woman in the world, and pushing back against that, of course, to make that fairer as well. But we still need that beautiful room of one's own. So use your workbooks as your room. That's the place just for you. I remember when I just had a Stara, and we were living in a little one-bedroom, 100-year-old cottage, and I didn't have an office to work in, and so I would often, the only way I could get any work done or have any time to myself was to go to the park, and I'd set up a tree, and there's lots of videos of me that I did up a tree, an old fig tree. Until I got scared down one day by a snake and didn't go back up because it's too hard to get out of a tree with a laptop when there's a snake chasing you. But I would go to the cafe as well, and I had this big canvas bag, and inside it this was kind of like my roaming office, my roaming studio, my roaming room of one's own, and it had my workbooks in it. It had my to-do list pad, and it had my journal in it, and my laptop, of course. And so I could go to the office, like I could go to a cafe, or I could go to the park, or I could go wherever there was a quiet space, sometimes the library, and I could create a room of my own, my inner world, even though I didn't have an office of my own. And it was that time just to connect with myself and to remember what I wanted and to spend time creating that. And it was actually the biggest healing thing that helped me with postnatal depression, was to start having time just with myself again. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so we'll always remember that portable room of one's own. Sometimes you don't have a physical room of one's own, but at least with, with the workbooks and with your own creative materials, you can craft one for yourself and say, this is my time and this is what I'm creating for me. And I'm not going to lose sight of myself. I'm not going to lose who I am in this process of being in this world and being in relationship with others. So I really want to encourage you, like, how can you spend more time in your room of one's own? How can you be with your workbooks more? How can you be with your journal more? Whether that's taking solo mama retreats on a weekly basis, like every weekend, one weekend afternoon, I will let the kids watch whatever they want on TV or play as much Minecraft as they want. But I'm in bed, in a room of one's own, reading doing e-courses other people have done, filling out my workbooks, writing in my journal, thinking about who I am and what I want to create. And the difference is marked when I do that, when I sit with myself and go, who am I again? Oh, that's right. And fill that beautiful cup up. I'm a better mother and a better wife, and I'm just a better Leonie when I have that time with me. So that's my message for today. If you want to go back and rewatch and get all of it, please do. I really just encourage you that come home to you, create your soul's own room, because you have magic to share in the world, and there's also just such glorious magic in just being present with yourself as well. I'm sending you so much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.